going to start by drawing the V block and drawing the base. So I'm going to use rectangle in Inventor. Draw the rectangle base of our V block and then dimension it. Seven space 7 divided by 8 gives you 7/8 dimensions. And it's 3/4 high. Next, we're going to draw the rectangle on top of the V block. We can dimension that from the very bottom of our block to the top at 2 5/8, which is 2 space 5 divided by 8. And we dimension how wide it is by saying 3/8 plus 2 3/4, 2 space 3 divided by 4 plus 3/8. So we can put in functions with multiple addition inside. We're then going to draw the notch out of the middle of the V block that is a 1/2 inch wide by using the rectangle tool. I'm going to draw it off center on purpose so I can show you how to align it. We're going to use the vertical constraint to align the midpoint of the bottom of that notch to the midpoint of the line below it that was there when we drew the rectangle. Now those lines are constrained, and they can be adjusted while maintaining the midpoint constraint. Now our convention hits a 1/2 inch wide. Now we're going to draw an angled line from somewhere on the top boundary to somewhere on the side boundary here. We can draw the same thing on the opposite side. We can then dimension the angles, the angled line to the top line, and make it 45 degrees. Do the same on the other side. This time, instead of typing 45, we can click the other degrees to match it. Then we dimension the distance from the end point of the line to the side line and make that 3/8. And repeat the process on the other side. And once again, I can match the distance by clicking on the other one. Now I can trim these middle lines here and complete my last dimension by making this 1/4. After we're done all the dimensions, we should be able to extrude. Finish sketch, extrude. I have to click on multiple parts to make sure I get what I need to extrude. Extrude these boundaries here. And the shape is 3 1/4 wide. I can then fillet this corner here to 1/4 inch. To use that tool, click Fillet, put in your radius, and then click the line. And apply. Now to create the circular cutout, I'll create a sketch on this surface here. and view it from the top. It's composed of 2 circles. I'll draw the outside circles first. They need to be made in line with each other, and since my view is going sideways, I'll turn it the correct direction, and now I can make them horizontal. And I can also make one horizontal with the midpoint of the shape over here to lock them in place. I'll dimension them 1 3/4 apart. And connect the lines top and bottom with tangent lines. Looks like some of them created tangent without me having to do anything. I can then make those lines parallel, which automatically sets the circles to equal. Dimension the distance between the two at 1 1/2. Now, it doesn't dimension how far apart they are linearly in the horizontal direction, but we can assume that the circles fall in the midpoint of the region, so we can once again use the vertical or horizontal midpoint. This time we can use vertical to line up the midpoint of this line to the vertical midpoint of the bottom edge. And once again, they change color, so we know they're locked in place. Now we can extrude that entire surface up 1/4 of an inch. Then we'll put a fillet around the outside edge with a 1/8 radius. Lastly, we're going to put a sketch on the top surface to be able to create the notch that cuts through the shape. To create that shape, I'm going to use the offset command, which allows me to click on a enclosed line and drag it into any specified size. And this is 3/4 of an inch. Extrude that shape, cut,